Hey everyone, welcome back to POV Drives. Today we're taking a look at a Jeep Wrangler. This is the Unlimited, which is the four-door variant of the Wrangler. This is a 2019 MOAB edition, which essentially takes some of the luxury amenity features of the Sahara and adds some of the Rubicon bits. So we're going to do a commuting video today. We'll have a full video on this car, reviewing it, talking about my impressions. But this is just purely answering the question, can you daily drive a Jeep? Because so many people do it. You see so many Jeeps commuting on the highway and stuff. So I'm going to give my impressions on what I think about my commute in a Jeep Wrangler. My job has changed. I'm now within 30 minutes of my job. I go in about 4 days a week. So I have about a 20-mile commute, which has some traffic at the end. We do have a four-legged friend to drop off today, which is also part of my commute. Hello, buddy. So he will be the first stop on our trip, but let's just do a quick walk around. So the MOAB comes with these 17-inch wheels and these Bridgestone all-terrain, multi-terrain tires. They're 33-inch, so they're pretty large. We also get the hood of the Rubicon and a couple of other off-road trim features. But for the most part, this is a Sahara with just a couple more exterior design features, like this blacked-out Jeep Wrangler in the hood vents, as well as this MOAB decal. And much like a Jeep Wrangler, we get manual seats, a pretty high step-in height, and a pretty small cabin for a body-on-frame truck. That is pretty substantial. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in the full review. We do have the 280 horsepower, 3.6-liter naturally aspirated V6, the Pentastar. Made it to this automatic 8-speed transmission. It's ZF. It's in a lot of Dodge Chrysler products. And we have some nice luxury features. Some kind of softish plastic mixed with hard plastic on all around the cabin. Some leather on touch points like your armrests, as well as on the seats. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, 2 zones of climate, Apple CarPlay with a wired connection. Let's get that going. And some safety systems. We are missing adaptive cruise control, but we do have blind spot monitoring. There we go. So that's pretty much it. So let's get this on the road and talk more about my driving impressions. Manual handbrake. Some other nice features of this Wrangler. We do have auto start stop, which isn't working right now, but we also have remote start from the key fob, which I showed in the beginning of the video. We also have keyless entry, lock and unlock on the front doors. There are an additional options for adaptive cruise control. So initial impressions, I have driven the Wrangler a little bit just picking up the car, but in the morning commute, it's pretty quiet at low speeds. I am hearing a little bit more of the engine, but I don't really see that as a bad thing. As we all know, I'm an engine enthusiast. But visibility is decently nice. Good. I'm able to get into a good, comfortable position. I'm able to see out of most of my blind spots. This A-pillar could be a little bit thick for some people. But yeah, I do like the driving and seating position. And there's a decent amount of glass. You have these nice side mirrors that are good enough to not to provide viewing angle, but not too large to block some blind spots. At low speeds, this Pentastar V6 is very smooth. Not as much torque as the 2-liter turbocharged that is available with a Hurricane engine. I do like the name that Stellantis gives the engines. Now, Jeeps are known for being uncomfortable, loud, windy, and very vague steering, where you have to correct a lot on highway speed. So we will explore that later, and I will talk more about my impressions on that, because I do like a car that makes you work for it a little bit more, so to speak. You know, manual transmissions, a sporty car, cars a little bit more steering feel, where everything's just not refined out. This infotainment screen, while it is a little low resolution, is pretty responsive. The refresh rate and the frame rate is pretty good. There are some controls for the climate in here, and you do have a backup camera, which I think there's something wrong with the backup camera, but it does exactly what it needs to do. We do have rear parking sensors as well. Overall, not, just exactly what you needed in an infotainment screen, and it's nice to see something like that in a Wrangler, because this is such an old car. As you get up to speed, 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, you do get more wind noise. So let's take a listen. So yeah, you can hear more wind noise. It kind of, I think it has to do a lot with the very upright, just practically a brick going through the wind and the air. But ride quality has majorly surprised me. Excuse me for the sun. It's a lovely 6:55 morning. But yeah, ride quality is not too bad. It's bouncy, but it's not harsh. It's a little bouncy. Definitely gets a little bit more upset over broken pavement. We do have larger, like off-road focused tires, maybe mud terrain. I forget the name of them, but they are much larger, sidewall, much heavier tread. So they're just going to contribute to noise, ride quality, and all that fun stuff. So as we're cruising along here, I want to talk more about the various screens that we have available. In the center screen, it's a pretty good size. I think it's about 5.5 inches. Resolution isn't too bad. Clarity, brightness. It's nothing really special, but it's exactly what you need. So you got a speedometer, vehicle info for like your oil temp, your trans temp, coolant, all that stuff, tire pressures, lots of relevant information. And then you also get your drivetrain, what's it doing, your pitch and roll angles for when you're going off-road. This does have a limited slip rear differential for off-roading. And we also get fuel economy. So this has been averaging about 17 mpg. I just reset this yesterday. This Jeep with the 3.6 liter V6, the Pentastar, no e-torque or anything, gets 18 mpg city, 23 mpg highway. Takes regular fuel. So for a brick, it flew pretty good. If everyone gets that reference, I will love you forever. I did just reset the trip computer, so hopefully I get a better reading for the review of some of the more driving I'll be doing. I bet we're going to probably average around 18 to 19 traffic and highway driving, and a little bit of spirited driving. Also do get an audio display for, whether it's Apple CarPlay or the radio. But yeah, nice and intuitive, nice physical buttons to go through it. Nothing too complicated about that. And as we get off to Buddy Milo's stop, we'll talk more about the steering. So, yes, the Jeep wiggle. There's very little weight to the steering at high speeds, and there's very much a lot of weight at low speeds, especially with these large tires. So it's a lot of overcorrecting, especially on the highway when you're being blown around by the wind because you're literally in a brick. I don't think it's the worst thing. It's definitely, it's kind of funny, literally it's opposite of most cars. Cars are heavier weight at the speed, lighter weight for the most part at parking lot speed, so you can navigate those turns without too much effort. I would say that the steering probably is a deal breaker because it would just get old pretty fast. But I will say the wind noise on the highway, which we'll talk about more, definitely is a deal breaker. So let me go drop off buddy Milo, and we'll continue this drive. So one thing I want to mention while we're here, obviously the steering is definitely a pain at low speeds. I think you get used to it. There's just a lot of things that Jeeps do that add up over time that would make them tough daily drivers. Let's get on it. Nothing beats a naturally aspirated V6. Very smooth, very builds the power and stuff. Not a ton of torque off the line, but very nice combination with this 8-speed. Does wonders for the car. So let's put in our navigation to work. We're definitely gonna get there pretty early. But yeah. Yeah, the V6 is definitely a proper engine for this car. Now, before we get on the highway, I want to quickly talk about seat comfort. Not too bad. There is a manual lumbar adjustment. All manual, though, otherwise, because everything in here is meant to be taking off the doors, the window. I don't know if you can take off the window. I think you can, actually. The roof, all that good stuff. So, yeah, manual adjustment forward, back, front, or forward, sorry, seat forward and back, back forward and back, lumbar and stuff. They're pretty comfortable. I would like a little bit more thigh support, and the leather isn't necessarily anything to write home about, but it's nice to see it in here. I think the cloth would probably just be a better fit because the leather isn't the greatest thing ever. So we get onto the highway, definitely gonna hear a little bit more wind noise. We do have a manual shift mode. Pretty responsive. On the highway, 422 East Pennsylvania. Kia Stinger, looking good. So on the highway, the Jeep is relatively composed. This is a pretty bumpy road with a lot of, cracks and divots and all of that, just from the winter and stuff, but even, just throughout the year and stuff. It's really a beaten up road. It's kind of too small of a road for the amount of traffic it sees. So let's get up to 70 miles an hour. We'll try out this cruise control. Do 71, because I want to be different. Now take a listen to the NVH, the wind noise and all that stuff. So I will say one thing, Stellantis and all of them, their brands, Fiat, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, they get beaten up a lot. Yes, they do have quality issues for sure, electronic and all of that stuff. And yes, they do make overpriced products. And yes, there is a positive thing I will say. This is, for 80,000 miles on this particular car, I don't hear any rattles. I'm hearing wind a little bit over the, the hood and the window. A little bit of wind over here by my head, through the doors and stuff. It's not the greatest thing ever, and I wouldn't want to take this up past 80 miles per hour, at least on this road, versus where I would in like a Nicole's Mazda or my Audi, but are also unibody cars versus a body-on-frame off-road focused car. This isn't too bad. Lots of good visibility, lots of glass. The kind of boxy nature of this cabin doesn't really bother me too much. In terms of steering correction, yeah, I guess I have to put a little bit more in effort into correcting it on the highway. Really, I think in the wind and stuff, you definitely are overcorrecting a little bit more, but you know, it's not terrible and stuff. Will Jeep ever do like a lane tracing, kind of lane centering adaptive cruise control? I don't know. I know they have normal adaptive cruise control with the gap adjustment for following, but this isn't bad. So yeah, we're sitting in traffic now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's you know, the 8-speed automatic is very smooth. The V6 delivers power very nicely. There's no jerkiness with the powertrain. It's pretty well refined. You're definitely hearing a little bit more bumps, but that's just this road in general. Bump, 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 bump. It's not punishing. It's not comfortable. Yeah, you really have to be a Jeep person or somebody who just doesn't really care too much about ultimate ride quality. As you can see, I do have 12 minutes of traffic to go through, so there'll be a lot in stop and go. But other than that, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Hope everyone enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Do you commute with a Wrangler? You know, if you're an owner, which powertrain do you drive? What year? What transmission? You know, let me know. Let me know your thoughts around that, or let me know, as somebody who doesn't own a Jeep, what you think about people commuting them. Are they crazy? Are they stupid? Are they, you know, should they just go out and buy a Toyota Corolla, even though they like to off-road? Just buy a Toyota Corolla, or maybe a Mazda Miata. That's a great off-roading vehicle. Talking to you, Reddit. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Please give it a like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support on the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.